It's January 7th, 2021. And before I get to the podcast that I have made and was ready to post, I need to talk about what happened in the United States yesterday. Yesterday, domestic terrorists assaulted the National Capitol building and buildings all over the country. They were here at the Capitol in Denver also. And I would like to say that I believe that terrorists should be arrested and charged and tried and prosecuted for the crimes that they committed. What we saw yesterday was awful. And despite what I have heard a lot of people say, it was America. But it doesn't have to be. So I also want to thank a lot of people for all of the work that they have done and are doing to make America a place that lives up to its principles, where there are rules and laws and they are enforced equally for all people. So I want to thank the good people of Georgia and Reverend Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff. I want to thank Jason Crow, my congressman. I want to thank Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and Stacey Abrams and Alicia Garza and all of Black Lives Matter. I just want to say that there are so many good, smart people doing great, important work. I've been thinking about this all day. I'm sure that looking back on this little clip, I will not have said what I wanted to say. This is such a big thing, and everyone is processing constantly all of the events that are happening to all of us and our fellow citizens all the time. But I could not just put up videos of my cat and my knitting without saying something about it, because it's important to me not to ignore it and not to say nothing and not to it's important to me to make my position on it clear. I started the podcast in an effort to connect with you guys, my community, other people who knit, and this is part of that connection. So I hope you're all well and safe and healthy, and here's the podcast. Hi guys, welcome to episode 1 of the Happiness Party podcast. My name is Andrea, and I am coming to you from Aurora, Colorado, where I live with my partner Leah and our cat Zeus. I did Vlogmas last year in 2020, and had such a good time that I've decided to make the podcast a regular thing. I'm going to put up an episode every 2 weeks. For this first part of the first episode, I want to talk about socks. First, I want to show you the first of these holiday-themed socks that I made during Vlogmas. True to form, I have not woven in the ends yet, but there is the first sock all completed. This is a Hermione's Everyday Sock pattern. I did knit this toe up with a gusset, and the yarn is called Cherry Tree. It's from Never Enough Time, who unfortunately are not dying anymore. I got this yarn all the way back in 2012, but I thought it was such a great holiday color that I could not resist casting it on during Vlogmas. So I want to talk just a little bit about the gusset, because it's a kind of heel that I don't knit that often, but that I do like. Normally I knit a short row heel, mostly because it's fast and I don't have to refer to a pattern, and it also makes it very easy to put in a contrast color for the heel. I get a little twitchy about pooling and disturbing stripes, so I frequently use a different color for at least the heels, if not the toes and the cuffs as well. But that heel comes from this really great book, which I will put a not backwards picture of in also. It's called Socks from the Toe Up by Wendy D. Johnson. I've had this book for many years and I really enjoy it. I learned how to knit socks toe up onto circular needles, and that remains my preferred method to this day. I have knit one pair, I think, on double points, and I've knit maybe 2 pairs cuff down. I find it really difficult. And the thing that I find the most difficult about a cuff down sock is that most of the time they have a heel flap and gusset, and I'm not great at picking up stitches. Probably because I don't practice that, but when you're in the middle of a sock and you just want a sock, you tend to go with what you know. I dug out this book for these socks because I did want them to have a gusset. Though I do use a short row heel most of the time, I could really use a little bit more room in the instep. So I thought that I would fix that with the gusset on this particular sock. It's a very interesting construction. You don't have to pick up any stitches. You just increase and then decrease using the secret sauce in this really good book. So I think that it has turned out really well, and I'm looking forward to making the second sock and wearing the pair next year at Christmas time. And in more festive sock knitting, I did cast on Christmas Eve this beautiful yarn from Cornbread and Honey. This was the full skein offered with her 12 skein advent calendar, which I got for myself this year. And I think it was just called Holiday 2020 color. I will put that information below. But here's how it's coming out so far, which I'm really loving. I think the colors are really pretty. They're so subtle. And I love how the green is just spotted in there. I am using a stitch marker that I got with my last package from Row 1 Yarns. I have ordered their mini skeins, which I get every month. And they always send a stitch marker. That one very seasonal, some nice holly. I am using US size 0 Chow Goose for these, as I always do. I'm a fairly loose knitter, so I do use size 0s for socks. That's a 2mm needle, and I cast on at least 70 stitches for my size, which is a women's US 9 shoe. But I think they are coming along really nicely. They've sort of taken a back burner to some other projects, but since they're a nice vanilla sock, they'll be a good thing for me to pick up whenever I have a few minutes to knit. Just in case you were wondering what I am wearing, this is an oldie but a goodie. This is a hitchhiker shawl by Martina Bem. I knit this shawl in 2014, I think. I'll have to find my project page. And I made it out of mystery yarn that my mother found at the thrift store. It was a partial ball, well, most of a ball, of fingering weight. Looks hand-dyed to me, and it is really pretty colors. I'll kind of hold it up so you can see the nice little pops of fuchsia. There was a time when I was all about the one skein shawl, and I still have quite a few of those. They're really good for wearing around the neck when it gets a little chilly down here in my office. Hey Zeus. My lunch hour is over now. Buddy, I gotta use that keyboard for the rest of the afternoon. Zeus. It's time to go back to work. Look what came in the mail today. It's a cause box. Let's see what's in the box for this quarter. Cause box always comes with really nice art and a booklet that shows you all of the things that are in the box for the quarter. There are some things that come as a surprise and some things that you can choose beforehand. This was one of the items that I chose. I usually use parchment paper when I bake anything or put it in the oven and I don't want to have to clean the cookie sheet afterwards, but I thought that some reusable silicone mats would be a better option. In one of the prior cause boxes, I also got some reusable, they're like silicone Ziploc bags. So I'm slowly building up my zero waste collection for the kitchen. Hey guys, future Andrea here with a small clarification. When I was opening the cause box, I said that we had gotten some reusable Ziploc bags in a previous box. That's not right. We got these from a fundraiser that our friend's son was having for his high school. So it was a set of multiple sizes of these nice little reusable silicone Ziploc bags. What we got in the prior cause box were these, which are reusable, washable silicone bowl covers. And they stretch to fit over different sizes of bowls. There were 6 in the set. This is the smallest one for like a glass probably. And this is a medium one. I just grabbed a few out of the cabinet. And they've got a smiley face on them, which you can't really see. But it does make me happy whenever I open the fridge and see them covering the food. Ooh, this was so heavy. All right, this one's a surprise. Zeal Living, it says. Ooh. These are pretty wrapped up. I'm gonna go cut these open and then we'll see what's in there. So I only unwrapped 2 of them, but there are a set of 4 of these really nice marble coasters. Very classy. I like those. Nothing makes you feel like a grown-up, like a nice household item like a coaster. Like this says, I'm responsible enough not to leave watermarks on my wooden furniture. And I would like to believe that about myself. Most cause boxes also include some skincare items, which I appreciate. It looks like this is some Truffle Therapy Essential Face Toner. Truffle Therapy. I wonder, is that going to make me feel like fancy French fries or a happy pig? Guess we'll find out. What's this? Attitude. Oh, it's a fancy pillowcase made of bamboo. In a nice sophisticated champagne color. That is very cool and very sleek. I think that'll be very comfortable, especially in the summertime. We do not have air conditioning in this house, which most of the time is all right. It doesn't get sticky in Colorado, but sometimes at night it does get a little warm, even though our bedroom is down in the basement. I predict this is going to be very comfortable in the summer months. Something else that always comes with a cause box is a nice postcard. I really appreciate the art that comes in these. And I have been saving these to use at some point to send pretty postcards to somebody. Oh my goodness. Look at this. It's a planner. There might be glare on that. I do not have a 2021 planner yet. Look how pretty that is. That reminds me of Rifle Paper Company fabric. Idlewild Company Day Planner. That's amazing. This was a complete surprise, and I'm really happy to have it. It's got spiral binding too, so that it lays flat. So nice. And that's the winter cause box. Let's talk works in progress. The first thing that I want to show you briefly is the reimagined habitation throw that I am making out of my needle and thread minis from the 2020 Advent Calendar. If you watched any of my Vlogmas episodes, you will remember that I started making the habitation with the mini skeins as they came in order in the calendar, and also I was fading them together. About 10 mini skeins in, I decided that that was not my best plan. The colors were so nice that I wanted each of them to have a stripe of their own. So I ripped that whole thing out and started over. I am a little bit over halfway finished with the blanket now, and here is the progress. A little scrunched on the noodles, but you'll get the idea. And there's the last corner. So I did rearrange the colors of this also. I opted to start with this nice orange, because if you did watch Vlogmas, you'll remember that it was this mini skein that kind of threw me for a loop. It came in the middle of a lot of purple, and I just didn't know where to put it. But I think actually it looks really good with the rest of the orange through that grinchy green, all these beautiful teals, and now I am into the mini that reminded me of a mince pie. And then my next one is going to be this gold color. So I'm really excited about how it's coming out. I think ripping it out and starting over was a really good decision, and I hope to be able to show you the finished blanket really soon. Another thing I talked about during the end of Vlogmas was my knitting plans for 2021. I do have a lot of accessories. For example, today I'm wearing a shawlette called the Elk Tooth. This is by Caitlin French, and I made it out of some Aslan Trends Invernal that I overdyed. It was my first overdye experiment, and actually you can see where I kind of burnt the dye, or broke it, I guess is the technical term, but it's got these sort of blue blotchies. But it was a fun pattern, and the yarn has Angora in it, so it's snuggly and warm. It is a little small. This is why I don't knit a lot of one skein shawlettes anymore. I don't know what it is. Is it I have narrow shoulders, or they're just not big enough? One skein shawlettes do not stay where I put them. So although this is beautiful, and I will wrap around my neck if I'm particularly cold because of the Angora, I'm more of a multi-skein shawl person now. But anyway, we're not talking about shawls, we're talking about sweaters. Sweaters were one of the things that I wanted to concentrate on in 2021, and I do actually have a sweater in progress that I'm going to show you. I'm making this out of Knit Picks Swish DK in the Lost Lake Heather colorway. It's a really nice heather green. It's got the heathering is sort of a turquoise color and also a yellow color, which comes out really nice. It's really pretty and subtle. And this is 100% superwashable. The sweater I'm knitting is called the South Bay Sweater by Sam Lamb. I will, of course, link that below. And I started this late last year. I don't remember exactly when. So I will get it out of the bag where it's been all crumpled up and hold it up for you. I have finished the body. It's got a garter stitch panel that runs down the front. That's better. And then there's a gather right under the bust, which you can see right there. And then goes down. It's supposed to be a tunic length sweater. And I am a little bit into the very first sleeve. So you'll notice that I said it's supposed to be a tunic length sweater. I did knit this sweater to pattern in the body. I actually knitted it a little longer than it needed to be per the pattern. So I guess I really didn't knit to pattern. I knit it to pattern until about right here. So I made it a little bit longer. I went ahead and put the hem on, and then I tried it on. And honestly, I feel like it could use maybe 4 more inches to be a tunic length. I don't know why. I'm not particularly long-waisted, but that's just the adventure you go on when you knit a sweater, right? At least that's what I've been led to believe. I'm not an experienced sweater knitter. So my plan now is to knit both sleeves, see how much yarn I have left, and then take out the bottom garter stitch band and lengthen the sweater as much as I can. And once that is finished, I think I will really enjoy it. This sweater comes with 2 versions, a cowl neck and just a regular crew neck, I guess. I am going to do the crew neck. I just haven't picked up to do the neckband yet. So another project that I have gotten quite a ways through. I'm really hoping to get this sweater done quickly so that I can wear it while it's still really cold. So again, this is the South Bay Sweater by Sam Lamb in Knit Picks Swish DK. My sweater in progress. Actually, I also want to show you the bag I'm keeping this in. This is a flannel drawstring bag that my mom, a frequent mention on the podcast, hopefully she gets to be a guest someday, that my mom got at Target in the dollar bins last year as holiday packaging. So I got a present in this last year for Christmas, and I said, do you have any more of those? Because I'll take them for knitting bags. And they're great. They're good size for a sweater. I think this was a little Christmassy, which is probably why I pulled it out right before the holidays. But it fits my whole sweater and all the extra yarn. So from projects in progress to future projects. I also mentioned during Vlogmas that last year I bought the Needle and Fred 12 skein advent calendar, and I open one of those mini skeins at the end of each month. I won't keep you in suspense. Here are the minis from that. It was such a nice treat at the end of each month. Yes, I am holding them together with a hair rubber band, but they're beautiful. This totally inspired me to get the full advent calendar from her last year. And because would it even be a podcast if I wasn't opening up a tiny package with a mini skein in it? This is the mini skein from December that I would have opened on New Year's Eve, but I saved it for you guys. So let's get back to basics and open up a mystery mini skein. Oh, lovely. Look at that nice blue gray. It's a little less bright than it is on the screen, but oh, so pretty. I really love her colors. I couldn't be happier. So here's the whole set. Oh, maybe I'll do it like this. a dozen beautiful minis. So here's a question that I have for you guys. What should these be? Should I make scrappy leg warmers? Should I knit a cowl with them? Should I add them into my existing scrappy projects? Should I make scrappy socks? These are fingering weight. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you all so much for coming back to the channel for the official first episode of the Happiness Party podcast. It's been a lot of fun, and I am looking forward to making this my big 2021 project. Until I see you next time, party on!